Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? Alrighty, so today we're starting a new project. Um we're gonna take it easy. Alright? We're gonna do some planning today. Maybe we'll set up the project, you know, initial technology wise, and we'll figure out what we even need to do to get to where we want to. So the idea is to make a flashcards app, like a web app. I don't care about phones right now, as long as I can open it up on a phone and do the flashcards there on a website, or I know PWA eventually, maybe. It'll be great. So, why flashcards app? I made a flashcards app before, basically for my wife. And I had algorithm there that she really liked because they helped her actually stay and keep the things fresh. And I would like to recreate it and just use a different stack. And I did that years ago, so maybe it will be a little bit more fun now. So that's the plan. So it's not anything complicated. It's not something that will be difficult from technical perspective, from web perspective, or I don't know, algorithmic or database or even deployment. It's gonna be like really, really, really simple. But I would like it to be somewhat polished and just work. I would like it to be usable, and there are many avenues into how it could be improved in the future, how it could be, developed. So yeah, I thought that would be a fun project. I can already mention a few things that I would like to use. So I'm gonna switch to the other screen. So things I would like to use is Next. Next.js. It's a Vue framework. So it's a framework around Vue framework. I like it. I think I could use it as both front and back end because there isn't going to be like a lot of back end. So that could be good enough. And I could probably, could simplify some authentication stuff and a few things in the background. Because I'll need to have a database, and database will be basically on the same machine. I don't expect any kind of traffic on this website in the first place, so I personally know that it'll be on one server. Probably, 2-3 Docker containers to have all the parts of the website deployed. Therefore, I'm fine with, $5 server. I have something running on it. I'm just gonna throw that in, and it should be more than enough to support it. Because again, this is not gonna be intensive in any means. By any means, that's by any means. So I'm gonna use Next for the database. I'm going to use, guess it, SurrealDB. We went a lot through SurrealDB. We learned it a lot on this channel. I'm gonna continue with that. This is something that, again, I'm not expecting high load on this website, and this will let me just have flexibility to do whatever I need to. This is not gonna be this case where the front end is connecting direct to the database now. Everything will go to the back end. It will be, it will simplify things for me a little bit from the database design, and I know I'll be able to move relatively quickly thanks to that. So these are the two technologies, and what's connected to that is, of course, Vue.js, because if we're dealing with Next, that of course forces us to use Vue. I like Vue. It's simple, enjoyable. I have some level of expertise when it comes to Vue. Maybe not when it comes to massive applications, but for smaller things like this, absolutely. And what kind of environment we'll be using? I'm actually wondering, should we use Node.js? Should we use Bun? I am right now thinking about just using Bun and give it a try in more of a production environment. See what happens. I know that, It's fast enough, does everything that we have to do. I don't think we'll be doing anything crazy here. Next runs on Bun too. So we're just gonna do that and see what happens, you know? We'll see how it works on Docker container. The good thing about it is I think Bun has less of a memory overhead, so in theory it could be smaller to deploy next server. You know, use less memory and whatnot, so that would be great. And it's nice to support a project written in Zig, so that's another personal little thing that I'm enjoying about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's think what we even need to do. So I'm gonna go to Excalibur and let's start thinking. So the whole idea is that we have an application and it's gonna be called Quick Cards. I like that name. Don't ask. That's how the previous app was named, so I'm gonna stick to that. And what are the components to that? So first of all, of course, we need to have the website, right? The web app. Let's just do web app. And that web app will basically be, I'm gonna keep it so that everything's to the right is more closer to facing customer, and to the left will be basically the backend. So we have the web app. I'm gonna probably make that into just a label on top so that we know that we're dealing with quick cards. So if we have web app, where our client, which I'll just say browser, connects to, right? I mean, the web app really runs on the client, right? Because it's a web thing. So we have our web app, and our web app connects to our web server. So again, simple. We just have just that. I mean, yeah. There we go. This is gonna be a nice straight arrow. So the whole idea is that web app connects to web server purely through APIs. Unless web server, sometimes, you know, it needs to return the actual application, actual resources. So, you know, pretty standard stuff. This will be a hybrid SPA. Hybrid SPA or whatever. What it means is basically web server will render the page initially, and as the website loads, the rest of the website will load and will act eventually as an SPA, single page application. So now that we have the web server will basically connect to the database, right? So in our case, it will be SurrealDB. So let's do database, just SurrealDB web server, which will be next. Again, so we can just say, hey, these communicate. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole architecture that needs to exist. But the thing is that as you have, you know, work on your flashcards, you need to have flashcards, right? You need to have a set of flashcards that you're learning, you know, one thing, one side and second, both sides. That means that we need to store those flashcards, which can be in a database. We need to store sets of them, and we need to store the progress. And that means that we need to keep track of the progress and maybe sets of flashcards or whatnot per user. Therefore, we need the concept of a user. Therefore, we need some kind of authentication and authorization, right? I don't know what service we're gonna use. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Right now, I don't have any specific plans. I used Clerk before, but I'm willing to try a few other solutions. And the thing is that I don't care much about this connecting directly here. The users in the database will be managed separately, so we won't be doing what we did when it comes to my blog and the commenting thing. So this should be eventually, I think, a little bit simpler, at least, you know, more classic approach to things. Okay, so we need authorization and authentication, and this will probably be actually going through both, right? Because we want our uh, client to be able to authorize directly, like login, blah, blah, blah. And our server needs to recognize that the user is logged in and be able to verify it. So, nothing crazy. And that's that. And I'm planning, at least right now, that both those services, database and the database and the web server, they will be on just one specific server. Okay, so this will be one server. Client is, of course, its own. Auth will be, third party. I just don't feel like deploying that, maintaining that, and worrying about, okay, did I secure everything correctly? This is supposed to be something simple. Okay, so this is basically the plan. So, now for what the user can do when we need to. Let me just think what we actually need to implement when it comes to what needs to happen. So, let's just make it normal color, no crazy stuff. Okay, so we need to be able to basically sign in/login. So we need to have that flow. We need to, account management, basic stuff. Everything needs to have that. What is my username? What is the email address? I want to change my password. I have all those things. So possibly, hopefully, everything will be managed by a third party for that purpose, something like Clerk provides. Again, I'm not expecting any traffic. I'm expecting to be within free tiers for everything. But okay, you've got your account, you can manage your account. What else? It's a flashcards application, so you need to, be able to create flashcards and sets. Flashcards/sets. Because just a single flashcard doesn't give you anything. You basically want to create a set of flashcards that you can be learning, reviewing, and whatnot. So you want to create flashcard sets, and you also want to initially I think just create. Let's not think about sharing yet. This will be later, but as we design things, we'll just make it possible to, maybe add a share feature like, hey, I created a nice set of flashcards to, I don't know, learn Danish language, right? Because you couldn't find it anywhere and you want to share with your friends. Or you're a teacher and you want to share with your students because, I don't know, you found the app to be fun to use. The other thing is that you want to basically have the learning session. This flashcard application, this whole concept here relies on the fact that you have a session that takes specific number of flashcards, or not even that. It's just the whole application manages your process of learning so that at no point you're learning more than specific number of flashcards. So it won't be showing up you more stuff. And if you reviewed something and, few times guessed it correctly, as in you learned it, that flashcard won't show up until, I don't know, 5 in the morning. You do it at 5 in the morning, maybe it's gonna show up next 4 hours. Next time will be 8 hours. So the flashcards, before they are marked as learned, they will basically be showing up less and less. Unless you start making mistakes, they will be showing up more and more often. And they will be counting as this is something you are learning at this very moment. Therefore, the application is less of like, yeah, I'm gonna do it for half an hour and just study and study and study it. This is more like application is like, sorry, you don't have anything to learn right now. Maybe check in 6 hours. You might have, a few flashcards to go through at that point. It's, different concept. But I found it works because you're not overdoing it, or not going to the point where you're stop learning. So basically, you need to be able to go through a learning session where you have flashcards, you're guessing and whatnot. You're saving your progressing through through the set. What else needs to be? What else needs to be there? Basically, progress report slash screen, where you can see what is your progress. Maybe you want to investigate all the flashcards, see what you're learning, what you're not learning, some basic details so that at least you know what is going on. And is there anything else? Login, viewer sets, learn. That's it. Maybe because we have account management, let's say maybe preferences. Or sure, let's call it preferences rather than settings because it's whatever you prefer. And that's really it. There's nothing else to the application. So, I mean, something like account management, sign in, login, things like sending an email or, other side things. Again, I don't want to be bothered with that. This will be the third party. So, that's it. That's the whole idea. So let's say this is the to do. All right. So if that's the case, I think I'm gonna just write it down. Because it's one thing to just have it here and keep just things as that board. I would like to just go in and write it down. So for that, I'm going to just go to GitHub. I created a cards project. It's gonna be private, just in case. This is one project where I kind of don't feel like making it up open source, at least not yet. Maybe I'll decide on it at some point, but right now I want to keep it private. So there are many ways to track things, what needs to be done. One thing is to just create a bunch of issues. The other thing is to keep a project or something. I want to check out projects. Can I create a new project? Team planning, feature release, bug tracker, Kanban. I would like Kanban, yeah. Something really simple where I can just drag left and right. And then we have robot. Yeah, let's just do simple Kanban. And project name, MVP, right? Minimum viable product. Just like that. And we have backlog, we have ready, so that we can pick something up, we can have in progress and review, possibly. We'll see if we ever need that. And done. Can I like make it smaller or something? It's not like I can drag those. Can I hide from view? There we go. We're gonna just start with that. So what I'd like to do is just to go through those tasks. Oh, this is copy. Can I go here and like right click this, open a split view? Oh, there we go. Magical browser, that feature that I never use here, never do here. So in the backlog, we're just gonna give those overall ones, sign in / login. Then we're gonna have account management. We're gonna have our create flashcards / sets, learning, session, progress report / screen, and then we're gonna have preferences. So I'm gonna consider those to be just overall overarching things. I'm not gonna go and fill in descriptions yet. I don't think this is necessary during the stream. So that will be that. And can I just close this single one? Okay, it's possible. Cool. So that's that. But what we're gonna do today is I would like to start setting up the projects where we have simple Nux project, because there will be a bunch of decisions. Maybe we want a UI library, see how it works, maybe start prepping to connect to the database, a few of those basic things. No deployment yet. Let's just start with some basics. So this will be setup Nuxt project. We're gonna start with Nuxt. I'm gonna say it's in progress. So what do we need to do here? Can I create subtasks, or is it like too complicated here? Estimate start time, we don't need anything. Edit. There we go. Let's just do the check marks. Nice markdown stuff. There we go. So for the next project, what do we need to do? We basically need to, create new project. We need to have simple pages slash components slash setup, just so that we already have some. We have a page, we have a component, so that we have those folders set up, because normally Nuxt, doesn't push it. It's just like, here, there's missing folder. Other than that, I would like to also set up, Pinya store. That's one thing I want to have for sure set up. The other thing is find and set up UI/CSS library. I don't know if I want to go purely with my own CSS, because that means I need to do my own drop downs, but maybe that would be actually something that would force me to learn it. So maybe we're just gonna go with Taiwan CSS, or maybe we're gonna grab some library. I don't know yet. We need to look at the libraries. I know that I looked at it a few months ago and I was just upset with the state of it, like nothing wanted to work. Because at the same time I want some customization too, what else do we need to do in the next project? Simple setup, this and that, and maybe basic fake authentication backend. Just something where we can pretend that we logged in. We have some hard-coded maybe password and login, just so we can have some basic flow and see how we can do it with connection to, so that we can have ultimately an SPA, but still a server that we're not calling too much, because I don't want too much. So it'll be set up next project. Okay, we're just gonna set it like that. We don't have anything yet. And another thing will be set up connection to Surreal DB. Okay, so that will be another thing, which will be have backend connect to the DB and have front end API that reaches out to DB through the backend. Just a simple thing. We connect from our web server to the database and expose some of this data as an API that we can hit from the front end. Again, this is all within the Nuxt project, so that's where we can start figuring out how the server side of Nuxt works. I did a little bit of stuff with Nuxt, not a lot, so there will be lots of figuring things out. Okay, I think that's enough. This will be for later. I don't think we're going to touch that today. I don't have that much time today. So let's go with setting out our Nuxt project. It should be relatively simple, I hope. So first of all, bun. I should have bun ready. Let me just go to and pull the Git repo so that we have actually everything in set in place. So let's go and grab clone repo from GitHub. This quick cards, not the old one, and there we go. We've got clone repo. I'm gonna just have it here, and let's open it up as VS Code project. File, open folder, and this will be simple enough. Repos, we have our quick cards somewhere. There we go. And we just open up here, and this is where we're gonna start doing things. So the thing is that we have the Nuxt project here, which will work as a front end and as a back end. And then next to that, we're gonna have SerialDB. And I'm just wondering, and probably deployment configuration. So let's just wrap everything. Let's start with the directory. Which will be server, or let's call it, I don't know, backend. Because it's the same project that contains backend as in the server and the front end. So let's just call it server. Okay. Simple, generic, doesn't say anything. Good enough. So we go to the server directory and I want to see Bon version. Do we have like a newer version? Because I'll look at that, 1.130. How do I update? Help. Is there some update or something? Upgrade. Upgrade to the latest version of Bon. There we go. Bon, upgrade. Done. Okay, that was simple. Now try updating a node like that. Need to have other tools for that. So I like that. Cool. So now let's find out about our lovely Next.js. Get started. So installation, we're gonna go just bare bones start from the beginning, and we even have Bon support. So Bon X Nuxy, I guess Nux installation or something. Latest init and a project name. So project name will be quick-cards, and that will probably create it as a subdirectory here. So we're gonna move things around a little bit. So we'll be using Bon, and we just wait for it. No big deal. Let me just check that I have my audio and everything, because now I'm always worrying that I'm just talking to myself. There we go. I mean, I'm still talking to myself. I don't know if anybody's actually actively listening, but at least I have microphone on. I wonder what is Tyros doing. He hasn't joined streams in a long time. Initialize Git repository. No. That's a good question. What does it mean? Does it mean that, okay, I'm gonna initialize the Git repository, start a new one, and all this boring stuff, and have git ignore? Or if I will say no, it will not initialize Git repository and not create git ignore? Let's say no, and let's see if we're gonna get our git ignore, because I want my git ignore. I need it. Okay, so it created directory. Quick cards, see? We've got our git ignore, so that's good. So I guess I could just grab all this from here to here, and let's just move it to server. Move. And let's hope it works. I don't know how Bon behaves if we just move stuff around. Bon install. Let's see if it's happy. Okay, it's happy. Check, no changes. Good. I think something else, like maybe PNPM is the one that doesn't like when you move projects around. I don't remember. I just remember having trouble with that before. Okay, so we're good. So let's just push that change that, we have fresh Nux project set up. We have our git ignore, app.view, bunlock, package.json, robots and everything. Let's just take a peek at package.json to just name. No, name is quick cards. Private true, type module, blah, blah, blah. I'm not worrying about anything else right now. And nor even about version. So let's just do create brand new Next project. There we go. Let's push it. Good. That's the first step. So next step in our plan is to set up simple pages and components. Just something like bare bones. I don't care much about what exactly it is, just a page and something. Because if we look at our project, we just have our server that has public, which are statically stored files. The quick cursor we can delete because it's empty. And the server with just config for TypeScript and nothing else. Oh, we have app.view. So if I'm gonna do bun run, wait, what's the name of the thing? Bun dev. I can probably just do bun dev, right? I don't need to do bun run dev. Okay, bun dev. Next is starting. Warming up. Great. Let's copy this and open it up. There we go. So notice that we have this whole fancy interface here. Even though our app.view has nothing but Next welcome, and that's what it is. It's the welcome component, something built into Next that we just don't care about. All it gives us is like, oh, there are modules, there are examples, here's the documentation link, and replace the Next welcome with something you want. Okay, that's it. So we're just gonna say voila, right? Control S, and there we go. Right white page. Sorry about that. And it's just that's it. That's our website. Although we need to be aware that Next has actual fun thing, like this little thingy. It's added automatically to the website unless we disable it. And when we click on it, on the left side at least, it says, hi there, do all this stuff. I'm gonna send an anonymous statistic. Why not let the open source project continue? And what matters here is that, you know, we see that we have 12 components defined, not on a page. We have one runtime component and a bunch of built-in ones, so we can even see the built-in components, right? We have our current routing setup. We don't have anything. Create pages index view. That's what we're going to do. And you know what's on this page? We have an app and next route announcer, and that's it. I don't even know what the route announcer is. I know that it's a thing. Imports, modules, and assets, which are right now that, and a bunch of other things that we don't care about. But it's gonna be super awesome to just have an overview of what's going on. That's integrated tightly not only with just Vue.js but with Next. So from that perspective, it's gonna be awesome. So let's go back here, and we're gonna actually set up our first page. And for that, I believe it's something like Next page. I think we save it, and it should complain that there's nothing to display, right? You go away. Yeah, there's nothing here. In DevTools, I'm just curious if it's gonna complain that there's no page. Not even that. It's just created so that you have something like the next page. Maybe I'm gonna do that, you know? I'm gonna have this on the left side and we continue developing here. We can, come on, behave, shortcuts. What's up with this overview? Windows is getting worse and worse every update. So we're gonna create a new directory in our server. Pages. And here we're just gonna create our index page. Index.view, because we're doing view files, so we can just create our index view. We're gonna say that we have script setup, lang ts. No, we're just gonna go yellow and we're gonna do simple JavaScript for all the front end. We're gonna do TypeScript for the back end, and that'll be good enough. For the template, we're just gonna say hello from the page. Okay, I'm gonna Control S, and we can see that we need to refresh. Yes, there we go. It's simple as that. We just have hello from our page, and that's a page. Another thing is we can just add another page like about.view. We're gonna start up, copy this one, and just say there's nothing to talk about here. Okay, I just created a about file, right? But what it means is that I can quickly go and say go to /about, and there we go. We already have routing set up. That's it. If we're gonna go here, we should be able to see that we have pages. match root, but all roots is just active, about, and the index, which is nothing. So we have those 2 pages and even some extra middleware that I don't care about now, but in the future, sure. Okay, so we have that set up. I just want one more thing for that initial setup. I want to have a button to go to About and Home. So let's do it as a component, as in also as a layout. So what I would like to do here is just, I'm making like a basic framework so that we can move around and feel like we have an application set up rather than nothing. So what are we doing here? So first of all, we're going to go to our documentation, which is now here for some reason. I don't like it. So we have installation, nothing crazy here. Development server, next steps. Great. I know a little bit about Nux concepts. Do we have the concept of? No. I need my views, components, pages, layouts. There we go. I want a basic layout. So we need to create layouts and a default layout. There we go. So we will, for example, we'll be able to have a layout for some pages, maybe like a layout that, doesn't have the login, doesn't have, all the fancy things, because maybe it's for authentication or something, while some other things could have some different layouts with, all the tools and whatnot. So again, we create a new directory, layouts, and we're gonna create a default view. So this will be our default layout applied to all the pages unless overridden. We can just copy this whole thing. In the future layout, I'm sure we'll have some kind of processing, but for now, nothing. And in our template, we're just gonna have nav, right? And we're just gonna have a next link to just go to home and to about. And that's it. So we're gonna save it. Hopefully it's gonna work. Let's see. Refresh. No, it does not work. Oh, of course. We're not doing it properly. Okay. So our layout actually need to have the next layout. Wait, this is app view. We need to say that this is where we place next layout, and as a slot we provide the next page. Okay. So this will be fairly simple. So now app.view, which is right here. What about the next route announcer? I don't know where that's supposed to go now. We're going to put next layout here, next page here. So this will allow it to display the layout. Although that means that the layout will be shown, which will be just the menu, but not page content, because we don't have a slot for the content, right? See, there's home and about. And I can switch between them, I guess. This browser really sucks for development. You can't even see the full thing. Can I just say, show me the full thing? Nope. And in our layout, we just need to add a slot so that, we have something here. So we're going to have our navigation, and under that, we're going to have our slot. There we go. This is view 3, so we should be fine to have multiple main elements inside a template. I hope that's still fine. About home. See, we're clicking. It's awesome. And it takes, 3 milliseconds or whatnot, because we're not requesting anything. We shouldn't be sending any requests. Network. Click, 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 nothing. We loaded the first time. We loaded a bunch of stuff. And from that point, we already are in the SPA mode where everything is nice. So that's the hybrid approach by default, which is awesome. Okay, so that's checked off. The only thing is that I would like it to have as a component. So let's make it into something like a component header. Just like that. Simple component called header. So we can create a new directory. Come on. Inside the server. So it'll be components, and we're gonna call it /header. slash header.view. So what we did here, we have components and we have header inside the header, so we'll be able to use it as header name. We'll explore that a little bit later, but what we can do here basically is have our template and maybe script setup, right? And that should be it. That's all. And that should be enough. Already detected inside our, wait, that was correct. Our layout that, hey, we're placing this component here. Therefore, when we go here, refresh. Syntax error, components, header. I wonder if we need to restart. Okay. Stop. Start again. Let's see if we get the same error. Because that's a weird thing to have an error on. Refresh. Oh, that's fine. I guess just creating and doing things, it wasn't happy. So if we're gonna inspect this about page, we can look at our components tree. We can see that we have application, in which we have our announcer, next layout, the whole provider wrapper and whatnot. We have our layout loader. Wow. And this is our default layout. Inside of that, we have our header with, you know, our links, and the next page with our router view, which has just the about page. So there's lots of hidden hierarchy here, but we don't need to worry about it. From our perspective, it's just the simple stuff. Okay, great. So we can, I think, check off another box. Let's just stop it and let's comment it. So we modify the app.view, we added the header and the layout and the both pages. So create temp pages, component, and layout. Just something temporary so that we have something to work with. Push it. Great. And we can go and check it off. With lots of bright, dark for now, at least until we can switch it to dark mode. So sorry about that. I recommend just sitting a little bit further from the screen and maybe turn your light on. I need to have all the lights blasting for you to even see me in a in a view. Okay, simple pages, component setup. Next is the Pinia store, because we want to be able to share some parts of the application state with different components. Maybe we'll have something that tracks on which page we are, and you know, different components reacting to that. I guess Nuxt will already take care of that for us. But I know maybe some store where we can keep track of our, if we're logged in or not. Maybe some other state that tells us, okay, sets or some progress or timeout for the next session to be available for you know, for learning, and we want to display that timer in various location where in the background is always ticking. We'll see how we're going to use it. We're going to use probably several stores. So for that, we're going to use Pinia. I know Nuxt has its built-in stores, but they're very, very simple and limited. And Pinia is, you know, like a currently recommended way to implement stores in Vue.js, at least as of a few months ago. So let's go get started, because it should be really simple. We have a bunch of, you know, examples and whatnot. What I actually like is that we can do it this way, but also we can write those stores in this more view composition thing, which I just found out, which is kind of awesome. So I was getting started. What is the store? Come on, installation, please. Nuxt.js, there we go. Using Pinia of Nuxt is easier since Nuxt takes care of a lot of things when it comes to server-side rendering. For instance, you don't need to care about serialization for XSS attacks. Pinia supports Nuxt Bridge and Nuxt 3. Great. So all we do, we just call this. And of course we modify it because we're using bun. Because in JavaScript, there's always basically Oh, I'm in this situation, I need to do it differently. I'm in this situation, I need to do it vastly differently. Always modifying something. So in our case, we bun x instead of npx or whatever. And we just add the module pinya. And hope for the best. I know that npm might have some trouble. Here it should be fine. Okay, 3 packages installed. Updating. There we go. That's it. We can see that in our next we have the modules, pinya. And that's it. That's literally it. We have it set up. Let me just make sure that when we run the server, it actually builds and opens up, just in case we have something wrong. It doesn't hurt to do that. Well, it took us 5 seconds. We refresh the page, and it's all happy. Great. So considering that, I'm gonna push that, and I mean, I'm doing everything in main, so let's just create a new branch. Let's call it initial next setup, just so that we can have it cleaned up later. So we have our changes here, and this will be basically add pinya module. There we go. Push. Okay, we're done. Good. So what's next? And now that this is working, we can actually set up a simple store. So next, we're just gonna go and say, create a directory stores, because the whole idea, as opposed to some older approaches, is that you have multiple smaller stores that you can quickly use and initialize and just get them quickly, that have focused parts of functionality for specific things. So it's not like, you know, your components depend on a gigantic mega store that needs to track so many things and whatnot. It's just many small little pieces that are focused on specific subjects and maybe are helping us out to get some kind of context from somewhere. We'll see how that goes. So we're gonna create stores as / and let's make auth.ts. Yeah, a simple TypeScript. I'm gonna use TypeScript for stores just so that I have nice typing for that part. Everything else, the front end will be, of course, JavaScript. The interop here should be relatively easy. So how do we define our store? That's a good question. Let's learn it. So we have all that. Yeah, the npm, it might have issues because npm usually has issues, which is surprising because it's supposed to be the standard, right? So then you have all that to define a store. We're gonna get there. Waiting for actions and pages, on all that stuff. So this is next related. Let's actually read through that quickly, because I want to make sure that I'm not missing something important. We'll supply a module. Okay, we went through that. Awaiting for actions and pages. As with on-server prefetch, you can call a store action with async data. Given how use async data works, make sure to return a value. This will allow Next to skip running the action on the client side and reuse the value from the server. Okay, so it looks like our store can be hydrated straight from the server. Okay, that's interesting. That's going to be probably tricky considering authentication. We'll see. We might just have completely different system. And what? We have script set up, use the store, and, you know, use async data, and we await it, and this is that. Okay, we have user and store fetch user. What's this? I'm not sure. If your action doesn't resolve a value, you can add any non-knowledge value. Then this or true. Okay, sure. If you want to use a store outside of setup, remember to pass pinya object to use store. So we import use store and just say async data pinya and do a bunch of stuff with it. Okay, sure. That's something to remember. And by default, pinya next exposes a few auto imports like use pinya. Okay. Define store. store to refs when you need to extract individual refs from the store, and accept HMR update for hot module replacement. Interesting. It also automatically imports all stores defined within the stores folder. That's what matters for us. It doesn't look up for nested stores though. You can customize this behavior by setting the stores directories option. Oh, so we can say that we also have some other things like whatnot. Okay, good. Doesn't look up for nested stores. You mean by having directories without stores? Interesting. Something to check out. Okay, and we don't care about next two TypeScript. Oh, we don't care about next two. This is all next two. Okay, we are next three, so that's good. And that's like focus on server-side rendering. Interesting. So let's just go with defining a store because we have two options here. So before diving into core concepts, we need to know that a store is defined using the define store and that it requires a unique name passed as the first argument, right? So we just need to say that this is alerts and no other store is defined as alert because then it might consider that, you know what, this is the same store and cause problems. This name, also referred as AD, is necessary and is used by Pinya to connect the store to the DevTools. Naming the return functions use is a convention across composables to make its usage idiomatic. Exactly. Define store accepts two distinct values for its arguments, a setup function or an options object. So we have, exactly, the option store. This is like the classic approach that stems from all the way back from normal view 2. Where we basically define a store, like counter, right? And we define, okay, this is our state, and we have basically a variable count, we have variable name, and this is our state. We have getters, which we define this way, get this, get that, or we have actions, which, you know, action increment, which is more like a simple function, and do something here. That's one option. But we have also setup stores. There's also another possible syntax to define stores, similar to the view composition API's setup function, and that's what I want to use. We can pass in a function that defines reactive properties and methods and returns an object with the properties and methods we want to expose. So this is more like define store, and we just provide it with a function instead of an object, and we just do, you know, this is my constant this, constant that, you know, this is my function, this is computed, just like if we were dealing with, you know, with Vue.js. So from that perspective, it's absolutely awesome because we can write our, you know, front end and back end basically in a similar fashion. And then we just need to remember to return it. So let's copy that because this is the approach that I want to go with. Alrighty. So I'm gonna paste it here, and we're gonna pretend that we're gonna make some kind of off store. So be a pretend thing. So what? So we basically want to have the username. And initially will be a reference of nothing. But we can use TypeScript. This is reference for a string. And there's just nothing initially. Const maybe is logged in, right? And we just say that initially it's false. Do we want to track anything else about the user is logged in and what's the username? And that's it for now, right? We don't need any pictures, we don't need anything else. We'll get to that when we actually implement some kind of real authentication. And then we have the whole computed, which is, do we have use for this right now? Any auth? Maybe for pretends, we're gonna just say that the username is actually computed. We're just gonna say that username is computed. And how are we gonna compute it? If it's logged in, we're just gonna say John Doe. Otherwise, we're just gonna have an empty. And that's it. This way, this should automatically set itself an update whenever we are going to, you know, change logged in. And then we're just gonna have two functions. Function log in, and that's just gonna say, hey, logged in value is true. and function logout, but that's false. And that's it. This will be our pretend login. And we just need to remember to export the things that we will be using. We'll be using is logged in. We're gonna use username, login, and logout. So logged in, username, login, logout. There we go. And what we need to remember is actually name it properly. So this will be use auth store. Yeah, let's go. Let's have store in the name, and this will be basically auth. I'm gonna save it, and this should be enough for us to kind of have something working. So how can we use it? Very simply, let's expand our header. Besides the link to home and link to about, we're just gonna have another thing in navigation, which would be button. And it already suggests if it's not logged in, we're gonna do this. If that, we're gonna do that. So let's look into our script setup. So here you can just say const auth store is use auth store, okay? And from there we theoretically could use those, but I'm just gonna say if auth store is logged in. I mean, if it's not logged in, we're just gonna have the login button, and when we click, we just call login from the store. Otherwise, we're just gonna have simple logout button, and that's it. And I'm gonna wrap it in a simple div. I'm sure there's a nicer way to wrap things in, what do you call it, in VS Code. I need to finally learn it because I'm tired of, okay, I want to put a div here, put a div there. There must be like one button that starts a wrap. It would be nice to know. I need to search for it once. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, and for consistency, we're gonna specify the same thing here. I'm gonna format, okay, the prettier, I guess, puts it back. Oh, wow. But I guess that's enough, right? Because we're already using the store, and no matter where on the page we are, this component will have access to it. And in theory, we could have it somewhere else. So let's just see if this actually works. We go to about, and we have, nothing. I click login, and it changes the logout. I can move around those two, it stays the same. I do logout, it stays the same. Another thing is that I can, now that I have a store, I can do something that without a store will be a little bit more complicated, and simply say, let's say in our front page, hello from the page, and we'll say, we're just gonna make it a paragraph, v if, or just we're gonna do this, hello, and the name here. And for the name, we can just say that this name will be depending if you're logged in or not, right? So let's do it here. Const auth store, we just get the store. And then we're gonna make a very simple computed value. Const and greeting name is computed if it's logged in. Then we're gonna have the auth store dot username dot value. I think we need to call value every time, otherwise it will be stranger. And the whole idea here is that we can just use that greeting name right here, and we're just gonna say if you're logged in, it will say your name. Hello something, welcome to the home page. Okay, and depending if we're logged in or not, it should change. But remember that the login button is in a completely different component that's inside the layout, that's inside the header, whatever. It's just far away. But we can get that value in the same spot. So I know this is like super basic stuff, but there we go. Hello stranger, welcome to the home page. We can just move around, and when we log in, it doesn't change. So what is going on here? Do we need to subscribe to... Oh, I think I know what's going on. It might be that our computed here doesn't realize that is logged in is something that we need to keep track of. So let's do let's take a peek at those references because I might be just overdoing things. I want to know if I always have to use the computed for things. So now you must return all state properties and setup, blah, blah, blah. In other words, if you cannot make private, in other words, you cannot have private state properties in stores. Not returning all state or making them read only will break SSR. Ooh, DevTools and other plugins. Oops. Have a lot more flexibility with than option store watchers. Oh, you can create watchers within a store freely use composable and a composable. So that's awesome. I guess it just uses Vue itself for all the reactivity. So that's all good, but I want to, how to use it now. So const store is our store. We can use it this way, right? And then you can define as many stores as you want, blah, blah, blah. Once the store is installed, instantiated, you can access any property defined here and there directly in the store. We'll look at these in detail in the next few pages, but auto completion will help you. Okay, so note that store is an object wrapped with reactive, meaning there is no need to write .value after getters. But like props and setup, we cannot destructure it. Oh, so we don't need to call the value, really? So we get our store, and no, it won't work because it breaks reactivity destructure, right? But other than that, we can just say store double count. So this will be reactive if we say that our double value is from here. Interesting. So first of all, is it really that we don't have to have this whole dot value here? Because that would be great, but I can't believe it. It still confuses me sometimes. We refresh. Okay, it works. Oh, and now it's actually reactive. Okay, good. So I was making a mistake. So we have a proper thing. We just, log in, log out, right? I can go to about, back, it's good. I go to about, log out, go back here, it's good. So the state is being tracked. But if I'm going to log in and refresh the page, it won't remember that, of course, because it resets. Good. Okay. So that's that. So I'd say we have the Pina store set up. Let's just push those changes so that we have them forward. All three. So our header. Although in our header, I want to see if we are misusing something. Where is it? Come on. Wrong screen. So right here in our header, we use our auth store. Oh, and we are using it from within here. So it automatically subscribes and gets reactive because we use it only purely from the template. We're not doing any extra fancy things here, so we don't have the problem with should I call .value, should I not call .value, and all those things. Great. So index goes here and our auth goes here. Great. Setup example auth store and its usage. Although with the store, I want to do one more thing because it's never really the thing that you click login and you're instantly logged in. It usually wants to, wait for a second or something. But I wonder if we should really do that already. Because, we can simulate half a second or something that there's a delay between, us trying to log in and actually being logged in. But at the same time, if we're going to add that delay, that means our state here, our page would either need to wait for this whole thing to finish, which slows the page down, or we should suddenly need to do like loading here and there and a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna wait for that for an actual use case where we can start solving more problems. So that'll be that. So let's look at our progress. Pin store, yes. So now the fun begins. We need to find and set up UI or a CSS library. So we have multiple ways to do it. Let me just move that here so I can actually see the chat in case somebody wants to say hi or something. Go ahead. Even if you're watching it after the live stream, go ahead, leave a comment, ask a question, say how bad the stream was or something. Interaction is fun. Alrighty. So we need to find and set up the UI. So the thing with Nuxt is that beyond just all those settings, we have integrations, as in modules. Supercharge your Nuxt project with modules. So these are things that are trying to be extra integrated with, with the whole Nuxt ecosystem. So here we can look at categories, and we have, for example, CSS. We can see that we have Tailwind that integrates actually really nicely. Uno CSS, a Stalin module, or Purge CSS. Those four things are just, one command and it's installed. And we have things like database. Oh, there's Nuxt Cerility. That's fun. We have dev tools, e-commerce. But do we have UI? There is UI. But with UI, there will be a problem because we're going to have the CSS things. We're going to have some strange sets of UI like, okay, this is your admin panel and this is your whole, million super mega complicated thing put together. And then we're going to have things like, Quasar Framework, where we actually have the components. I really like Quasar Framework, but I don't want this app to be, I don't want it to be, what do I call it? Material design. I want to do something simple, something more like my personal page. And that's why. If I would be making like a big application, then maybe I'll consider it. So we have Nuxt icon, Nuxt UI. This is, fully styled and customizable components. And what is this? Can we open a new tab and see what this thing is? So we have a bunch of buttons, other things. What is this? Build headless UI and Tailwind CSS. Okay. Do we have something decent here, or is it like 10 components? Of course, we have pro and pricing. Not liking that. So progress bars, badges. Okay. I mean, this looks very web application-y in a way that I usually like interface like that. Nice and concise. You can have it nice and small. All the fancy things here. I'm just not sure how good will that work. I mean, this is kind of fun. Yeah, this is nice and simple. Okay, I'm not disliking it so far. We have color palette, icons, keyboard shortcuts, and I always like this effect. It's just so much fun, this effect, but it runs using JavaScript, which I don't like. If you could make an effect like that with this light and things shining, lighting up with pure CSS, oh, that would be so nice. Fully customizable, rounded background ring, padding, okay. And the app config, I see. So what components do we have? We have the accordion, alert, avatar, badge. So, this is simple. I like it. Nice. What does it look like? Script setup, we have our bunch of items. And in the template is just accordion, and items. Okay. All right. This is simple. Alert. Aesthetic alert. Okay. Great. Put icons, put some colors. And do we have anything else? Some actions to click. Slots to customize even more. All right. And we have some plot. Okay, this is actually starting to look decent. But what is pro? Collection of premium view components to create beautiful and responsive. Built on top of Nuxt UI, oriented on structure and layout, and designed to be used as building blocks for apps. So we have a bunch of templates. So components, what do you get? Like overall layout component, okay. Landing, who needs that? You can build it yourself to have it nice. I guess the target here will be, okay, you're the kind of company that builds simple websites for different companies, then I guess it could speed things up. because you can reuse for multiple customers or something. Blog with blog posts, interesting page. Okay, so this is purely, you know, basic pages. Auth, okay, dashboard, content, and color mode. Okay, that's it, really? That's not bad. Because we have alerts, we have avatars, badges, breadcrumbs. Where are they? Like this. Okay, that's good. Buttons, we have just basic buttons. We have some style like, you know, outline. Okay, soft, ghost, link. Okay, and we can warning bright light. Ooh, that is really bright. Link, solid, and soft will be just okay, something of that sort, and ghost, which just doesn't have the background. Okay, let's get back to normal light, night light. Good. All right. Yeah, I'm liking it. The colors and whatnot. Gray, black, rounded one. Okay. We can change the size from small or super extra small to super super large. Okay, I'm liking that so far. Good. Card, simple. Wherever it is, no example. I guess just that. Okay. Carousel, who cares about that? Checkboxes, good. Chip. Yeah, chips are actually important. Command palette. Oh, really? Uh, B model display searchable and selectable list of commands. Oh, that's it. Open, and we just do something. And in theory, we can select multiple. Okay, I see. Not sure why this is considered. Oh, and we can just do those things with some fans. Okay, this is fun. All right. Container. Context menu. Beautiful. Context menus are always fun, although here we won't use them. Date picker, divider. Okay. Drop down. How fancy is the drop down? Oh, extra fancy. Look at that. We can put everything here. Auto open. Manual one. Pops out. Okay, this is not bad. Form. Form group. Horizontal navigation. Okay, just as if it was, as if these were tabs. Okay. We have icons. Based on iconify. Can you select different ones? Or maybe that many is enough. Okay, are they all free? We have licenses, Apache 2, Commons, Creative Commons. Okay, so we have basically smaller little sets of things. But wait a moment. You can do all of them? Is there MDI? Material design icons? Yes. Okay, we have material design icons. Non-material icons, I don't like those. The material design icons. I love those icons. It's just 7,447 icons. Awesome. Cool. Okay, I'm happy about icons. That's my usual problem. That's good. We have input and all the other fancy stuff. Style, type, placeholder. Okay, this wasn't here last time I was looking. They must be building it out like crazy. Input menu, the shortcuts, meter. Okay, just overall link, how to display it. Good. Modal, how are modals? Okay, more fancy example with a card. Disable overlay, yep. Disable transition, so it just shows up immediately. Prevent close, there we go. Now we're talking. Full screen, there we go. Okay, all right, this is starting to look decent. Huh. I'm genuinely surprised that we have all that here. Notification, show the toast, there we go. We have some other one. Just the fact that we can have a close thing. an icon, an avatar, uh, timeout and everything. Oh, I like timeouts. Oop, and that's a short timeout. There we go. Cool. Okay. Click. I can click it to say to run something. That's awesome. Can have a callback. So when you hover over it, it stops doing things. Oh, that's fun. And the close button. Yep. Some actions. Okay. I see. All right. I'm loving it so far. We have pagination. We have a popover. But what about... wait. How is progress different from a meter? From 0 to 100, so the value of the meter bar. Display a gauge meter that fills or depletes. We can specify min max. We can add indicator. Okay, with percentage, a label. Okay, additional icon. So that's how it differs from a progress bar. Okay, and some other style. It's just basically the color. We can group it. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's actually really fun. That'll be so much fun to show as a progress. Okay. All right, and we can have but. This is nuts. Uh, we look through model, pop over, which works as just that. Okay, I see. Radar group, that's good. Range. Okay, do we have like double range, min max? I don't think so. Nobody uses that. And then we've got our select. Okay. This might speed things up a lot, and I like the design so far. It's simple. Ooh, this doesn't work. Use the color. Primary. Yeah. I don't like that part. It worked nicely here, but none of the other stuff. I guess when you force colors or something. Interesting. Does it show the selection? Good. And just gray. Wait. Oh, so we have like a separate color white? Oh no, just color white, color gray, and you can do different colors, sizes. Okay, I really like the small one. Even this the thingy here with placeholder, that's great. And icons, all right. Everything, disabled one, loading one. Oh, beautiful. So many good things for, you know, for proper interactive websites. A select menu, which will be probably for multiples. Yeah, if we want to select multiple things, great. Skeleton, great. Slide over, open. Oh, like the whole side. I don't like that. And we've got tables. So the table is something we could use to, for example, display a set of flashcards when you're editing them, or maybe your history of sessions. How is your progress going on a specific, term or something? Use the rows prompt to set the data to display in a table. So this is a simple table, right? We can specify the columns. Okay, sortable, direction, class, row class, sort. Okay. Sortable. Wait, what was this thing here? Oh, just a bunch of examples how we can add different classes that, animations and whatnot. If you really want to. We can sort them. It just displays that way and toggles between all three states. Okay, can we do two of them? No, right now it's just one. Default sorting. Reactive sorting. You can use the vModel sort to make the sorting reactive. Okay, all right, I see. And custom sorting if we want to do some crazy stuff, right? Good. Selectable. Lovely. Searchable. Okay. Seriously, with a search included? Although this search doesn't work, but oh well. Pagination included, that's good too. What else? Expandable. Oh, lovely. We don't need to build our custom stuff. Oh, and just template for expand for that gives you the row. Oh, this is great. This is actually great. These are not some, these are not shitty components. These are like decent large components. Huh. I'm liking it so far. We've got the slots like column header, so we can change those loading state. There we go. And we can just do something about it. Empty state, like nothing yet. Caption, so to customize the table caption. And here's the caption. Lovely. Tabs is just tabs. Vertical? Oh. Index, listen to changes, of course, and control the selected tab with vModel. Great. Text area for something larger. That's great. A toggle. Yeah, on the value true false. Sizing icons, even loading. That's awesome. Tooltip. Great. Vertical navigation, and that's it. Okay. And we have that kind of navigation. This ain't bad. This is actually pretty decent. So theming. So let's just go over introduction because so far I saw the components and this is pretty nice. I'm liking it. So the module that provides view components and composables built with Tailwind CSS. So I guess it would require Tailwind CSS module, and that's how we can customize things, which would be great. And headless UI. I heard about it. This is one of those headless UIs, right? Huh. So these are just those, but styled. Okay. HMR support, hot module read-only support through Next app config, dark mode support for left to right and right to left languages, great. Keyboard shortcuts, bundled icons, fully typed, great, and Figma kit. That's great too. And credits. Okay, views, that's nice. All right. Installation. Run this. Okay. Add it to the modules section, which probably already did that. And use Next Starter. That will be template makes it easy to get started with Next UI. Okay. I want to take a peek at that if we can learn something from it. Kickstarter project with a starter. We have Next 3, UI, module, content. Wait a moment. Called Sandbox or Stack Blitz? No link on GitHub. This is just overall Next. Do we have the starter here? Starter. Templates, and we have. Oh, these are like descriptions of them. Okay, this is not that interesting. Go away. Go away. So we've got that, and then Next UI will automatically install the Next icon, Next.js element, and the color modules for you. Okay, good. And this module is installed to provide easy way to have those icons. Good. And Tailwind CSS with all those plugins. Forms, topography, aspect ratio, container queries, and Tailwind. Great. Oh, I like that we have container queries already module for that. That's great. All right. And this module is written in TypeScript and provides typings. You can look at the source code to check them, but we could still just use JavaScript and not worry about that. So from that perspective, it's great. All right. All right. So If you're using VS Code, you can install the Tailwind CSS and TailSense extension to get auto completion for the classes. That's great. Okay. So before we commit to this one, let's just check the theming, and I want to just see a few other options if there's maybe something else I would like to try. Maybe it's gonna fit the concept a bit more. So this module relies on the next app config file to customize the look and feel of the components at runtime. I like that it's clearly described here. It's just that. Great. Colors, so we can define the colors, right? What is the primary? What is the gray? Okay, so components are based on the primary and gray color. You can change them in here. Okay, so basically gray is in being neutral, and what is the primary? And then everything kind of blends in. So the gray is like the unhighlighted version of the color, I guess. As this module uses Tailwind CSS under the hood, you can use any of the Tailwind CSS colors or your own custom colors or groups, such as brand primary. By default, the primary color is green and the gray color is cool. When using custom colors, we're adding additional colors, so we can worry about later. You just need to make sure to define all the shades from 50 to 950. Okay. Great. Good. So that's just colors. We just need to make sure we have them defined. There we go. And looks like 100 step intervals. We just want the 50 and 950 extra. There we go. CSS variables. To provide dynamic colors that can be changed at runtime, this module uses CSS variables. As Tailwind CSS already has a gray color, the module automatically renames it to cool to avoid conflicts. Cool gray was renamed to gray when Tailwind CSS 3.0 was released. Okay. Likewise, so you can't define a primary color in your config. You will conflict with it. Okay. So this is again more colors. Great. But now we go smart safe listing, color prop, blah. Okay, let's continue. Components. You can override component config in your own app config TS. Okay, so we could say hey, for container, for a button, just do this and that and additional things. Okay. The available options for each component should autocomplete, and you can review the defaults for each component using your IDE's functions such as command click. Great. Thanks to Tailwind merge, the app config TS is smartly merged with default config. This means you don't have to rewrite everything. Great. Okay, so let's continue. UI prop. Each component has a UI prop that allows you to customize everything specifically. Oh. Just right here. There we go. To change the font of the label. Excuse me. You'll need to do say, hey, in your form group, name is this, label is that, and UI label base is this font. Great. And you can do it per component, or you can probably do it in the config to like here to just change the whole thing. Great. Smartly do things. We have class attribute. You can also use the class attribute to add classes to the component, just like normal. Great. Again, Tailwind merge. With Tailwind merge, this will smartly merge the classes with the UI prop and the config. Great. Default values. Some class props like size, color, variant have a default value they can override in your config. So, you know, major, larger, smaller UI. Great. And we've got a dark mode. All the components are styled with dark mode in mind. Thanks to Tailwind CSS dark mode, class, strategy, and the Next.js color mode module, you literally have nothing to do. You can disable dark mode by setting the preference to light instead of system in your Next config. Okay, great. And you can, how do we switch it? Click. Oof, sorry. Holy moly, that was bright. So color mode, use color mode. It's dark. We have a getter for its color mode value, right? Equals dark. And we have a setter. Color mode preference equals color mode value. Is this yes or no? So this is the preference. Okay, so the preference is the thing that we want to force it to. Otherwise, it defaults to system. Great. And this is something that we could use something views to just have it saved in cookies somewhere or whatnot, so that the user doesn't have to change it every time. Template client only, of course, and we do the fancy stuff. Great. Icons, thanks to next icon, we can have those icons. How can we customize them? Any icon prop available across the components. So if hero icons, or we could probably use other ones, right? I don't have them here anymore. Such as i-prefix, for example, i-hero icons. So how does it show up when it comes to the material design icons? Well, Google material icons have even more fonts now. Material symbol and material symbols. Huh. And I can mix and match, and I just gotta figure it out. That would be so awesome. I'm just overly excited. So let's say I want this specific one. MDI, account voice, and that's it. Okay. It's just gonna work. Great. Components. We don't have Nuxt here. No. Oh well, it doesn't matter, but yeah. Hell yeah. This is awesome. Okay, I'm loving it so far. I'm like astounded by the amount of stuff here. As if they wanted to make building websites easy, right? Using their framework. Collections. It's highly recommended to install the icons collections locally. For example, use this and that icon, install the collection, iconify. This way the icons can be served locally or from your serverless functions, which is faster and more reliable on both SSR and client side. Exactly. And we can learn more about it. Probably, I'm sure it figures out which one to show, and it wouldn't take too much memory or whatnot, so that should be fine. Cool. Theming is good so far. Shortcuts. Learn how to display and define keyboard shortcuts. Oh, okay. Yeah. Simple enough. Okay, I'm really excited for this one. Let's just take a peek at those here again. Port of Radix UI primitives. That's gonna be like super bound bare bones, right? We would need to style them ourselves, I think. Unstyled accessible, so that means we need to do all the styles ourselves, so that's an option. And I think I had a problem with that last time. Back to UI, please. What? UI, please. There we go. Color mode, yeah. Beautify. I don't want Beautify. Prime view. That's something I was looking at last time, a few months ago. But for some reason, I had trouble to actually set it up. And Unknown says, hello. How are you doing? What brings you here? Device shot CDN. Okay, reusable components. Aren't those installed as well or something? I don't remember. No, build, view, and tail and CSS. Okay. Do we have some kind of documentation for them? Oh, those were those. Dashboards, cars. These are examples. Do we have actual components? Okay, this has some number of components. Let's just take a look at the table. They're teeny tiny. Oh, that's it? Really? That's all there is? Okay, you don't have good documentation. Go away. Too simplistic. I have standards. Unknown says good. That's good to hear. I'm doing well too. Excited about actually the Nuxt UI. I didn't know it was that good. So what do we have? Elements? No, thank you. Nuxt icons? Yeah. Headless UI. Maz UI. Is there anything? Quasar UI is awesome. Quasar is just awesome. It has so many components that it's just absolutely nuts, and it has good components. But at the same time, it's not really Tailwind friendly, which I kind of dislike because I grew to like Tailwind a lot just in the fact how I can manage things around, the simplicity of it. But Quasar is awesome, especially if you use the framework itself, which is really nice if you want to actually build not only a website, but you want to maybe build a mobile app or something. One code base to rule them all. It's actually working in their case. What else do we have here that I could take a look at? I don't want no, just bare bones things. Phosphor icons, this icons. Vant, a lightweight customizable view UI library for mobile web apps. We're gonna take a peek at that. No storefronts. We're going to less and less popular ones. I think we're gonna stick to what we found. So let's just take a peek at Prime View. New module unlocked. Great. I already don't like the logo. Okay, so let's look at the documentation. What's going on? Wow, that's bright dark mode piece. I mean, this looks pretty, right? Okay, installation. We have configuration and all that stuff, so that's good. Theming, we should have styled mode and unstyled mode. Interesting. And then we have components. And I recall this had like tons of components, absolute tons of components, for all the autocompletes, right? That's actually great. Cascade select. Oh yeah, like, come on, look at that. This is fun. Whole WYSIWYG editor that nobody likes to use. Color pickers. I mean, this is like, the best you can get, in my opinion. But last time I was trying it with Nuxt, it would just didn't want to cooperate. But at the same time, I just really like the options here because there's just so many. Like, hey, here's a data table. Maybe you want the data view to have, more decent something. Organizational charts. Maybe a little bit too much of the stuff, but at the same time, it's nice to have options, right? Because I really want to display a tree table for some reason, and okay, you're covered. I like that comfort for some reason. I like my options. Panels, dividers, all that stuff. But is it built using Tailwind or what was it? Getting started. Search for Tailwind. Tailwind CSS, okay. Integration. Between Prime and Tailwind CSS, both installed and uninstalled modes. Tailwind CSS is popular. Yeah, I know what it is. So you just have presets. The Tailwind CSS Prime UI is an official plugin by PrimeTech to provide this and that. Hello, Bunny. What is this? I'm just looking at component libraries, UI libraries to use in Nuxt. And again, I'm tempted by Prime View. But at the same time, I'm really liking the Nuxt UI because it has good enough number of components, and basically it's guaranteed that it's gonna work well with Nuxt. So I would save myself some head scratching. Yeah, I think we're just gonna screw it at Prime View. I really want to try it out at some point, but maybe for a larger application where we need all the specialized things. If I'm gonna go with something like, Nuxt UI, because it's built on Tailwind, that means that all the styling of all the extra things, it's gonna be simple because I'm gonna use the same thing. No extra unnecessary CSS, so it's gonna stay minimal. And on top of that, I'll be able to integrate with, some special effects in some simple fashion. Of Quasar, not for this project. What is Vant? Vant button, lazy Vant button. Do we have documentation? We have some components. Nah, this is a fun project, but not large enough for me right now. Okay, that's it. We're going with the UI, with Nux UI. Let's just go through installation. We're gonna go step by step to make sure that everything actually works. So first of all, we're gonna run our npx, or in our case, it's going to be, first of all, let's move this to the side now. So first of all, we're gonna call, come on, paste it here without doing weird stuff, please. I hate it when you click the copy button, right, on the website, and it copies with extra enter at the end, just to make your life miserable. Von X, this please, run. Did we just add 130 packages? Seriously? JavaScript truly has a problem. So next step is to make sure that we have this Nux UI inside our modules. Okay, I think it's already there, but let's just make sure. Nux config. There we go. There's our Nux UI. And then that's it. You can now use the components. Great. So let's ignore the Nux starter because we're not doing that. We already have our setup. Modules. Nux UI will automatically install the Nux icon, Nux Tailwind, CSS, and Nux.js color modules for you. You should remove them from your modules and dependencies if you have previously installed them. Okay, so we don't want to install them extra. They need to be installed by the thing separately. Okay, all right. So next icon, this module is installed, provide easy way to icons. Great. Tailwind already pre-installed all those goodies. Note that the Tailwind CSS aspect ratio plugin disables the default aspect ratio utilities, like aspect ratio, square, and video. Okay, because it's from the plugin, so it has probably more specialized. You can re-enable them. We don't care about it right now. And color mode, which is separate. We don't worry about color mode too much about it right now. Okay, so good. We've got a TypeScript. Great. And IntelliSense. So let's continue. IntelliSense. Tailing CSS IntelliSense. Just like that. Let's go for it. Let's go grab it. It's fun to just keep shoving into your VS Code yet another extension, right? It's just IntelliSense. It probably is gonna show the type Tailwind, right? There we go. That's it. It shows them here, and possibly it's gonna be fun. There we go. That part's done. You can read how to set it up in here. Blah blah blah. And of course, VS Code settings, files associations, Tailwind CSS. And that's it. Other quick suggestions. Strings true. Sure. We're gonna start with that for our settings, and we're gonna set up additional things a little bit later. So we're gonna create .vs code /settings. Oh wait, this will be settings.json. Right? .vs code /settings JSON. There we go. You can write your Tailwind config and TypeScript as such. Okay. And we can copy paste it and leave it empty, I guess. Was tailwind.config ts. Come on. Tailwind.config.ts. Okay, we just plop it here. Great, great, great. And empty. There we go. Just Place the configuration here, just for prosperity. Posterity, sorry. If you do so, you'll need to add the following to your VS Code settings JSON. Tailwind experimental config file. Oh, if you do so, we need to extensions will work when writing classes by default. Also, you might want intelligence on objects or with prefixing UI. To enable these two features, we'll see how it goes. It just has too much configuration. Seriously, I might just as well use normal lack of IntelliSense. This is a bit too much. Let's just get rid of this whole tailoring config. There's nothing here yet. If we have to, we're gonna go through that. This is a little bit too much. Blah blah options prefix. Define a prefix for the imported components. I'm fine with you. Global expose components globally, whatever that means. Safe list colors primary force safe listing of colors to need to be purged. Disable global styles. Okay, we're leaving all that. Fine. Okay. Great. Edge. To use latest updates, push to the dev branch. You can use UI Edge. Okay, I don't care about that. I think we're good. All right. We're just gonna specify our app.config.ts. Huh. So let's do that. App.config.ts. Do we have that here? No, we don't. App.config.ts. We're just gonna specify it here. And this is the default, right? So let's do primary will be red. I just want to see what on earth is going to happen. So let's try to actually run our application and see if everything goes wonky or we actually get something displayed on the screen. It's never guaranteed. So let's go to localhost 3000. Okay, we're instant dark mode. Can go back and forth. That's great. We have a login button that doesn't show itself as a button anymore. Okay. So let's see if we can quickly use some of the components. So we're gonna not go into theming because that doesn't matter right now. I'm going to go to, let's say, the button, right? And we have no button, we have the sizes and styles. In my case, I would like it to be simple outline for login and logout, right? No big deal. Low key. So does it? Oh, look at that. They even show it here. That's fancy. U button. Okay. The one I see U button, I think Unreal button. But that would be case on Monday, right? So we go to our header. And here we have our login logout buttons, right? So let's see if we can do something about it. So this will be the text. Color primary, sure, variant outline. That's what we want. And I'm actually going to do something more fancy. And instead of having this login logout here, I'm just gonna say that this is auth store dot is logged in, and either logout or login, depending on that here. And click will be simply oh, we could actually do it here. Let's just do on login click. Okay, and we're just gonna have function on login click, and depending on which one, we're just gonna call the project one here so we can have it nice and concise without too many if else's everywhere. And this should be it. So I go back here, I peek here, and we've got a login button. And because our default color is red, it's red. Okay, great. For success. Now our links, because our data are like hideous right now. Can I make link buttons? I think I should be able to. I probably wrap them in a button. So let's go to the button because we have a link. Use the to prop to make the button a link. And this should probably integrate with Nuxt itself, right? Sure. Target blank. Yeah, just whatever it is, go there. And let's see if that's gonna actually trigger the quick navigation, because if we're gonna refresh a page, it's gonna take a moment, right? Bam. It takes like 200 milliseconds to get a fresh page, 60 milliseconds. Yeah. So if we're going to do it here, we can just do bam to slash target blank, sure, and this will be home. And we're gonna say another one will be just about. And in theory, that should be enough to just have it here. There we go. Whoa, we've got the link buttons. Great. But I don't want them. Wait. Oh no, they reload the page. Come on. Can I just, like, what are those options? Because blank just opens up a new page. Okay. I never use really those settings on a normal link. Parent self. Can I skip the target? What is the default for target? Is that gonna fix the problem? Okay, now we're actually running inside here. Great. And this is this. So we can probably just say the navigation. You know what? Let's go fancy and see if we can make some kind of toolbar. Do we have components for something of that sort? So that's the question, because I don't recall seeing that. Context menu, date picker, blah, 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 blah. Notification. No, we don't have anything like that. We have horizontal navigation. No, I do not want that. Okay, that's less expected. So how would they recommend doing that? What is the container thing? Wasn't there container here or something? Oh, there's container. The container lets you center and constrain the width of your content. That's it. I want content to the left and then to the right. Do I need to do it like a ancient flexbox thingy, or come on? This is supposed to be simple. I want some panel with slash background. Okay, let's do it the ancient way. And that means we need to do flexbox stuff, but we have Tailwind, right? So let's do just div, and this will be those two buttons here, and this div will be here. Class is flex gap 2. There we go. It already knows what we're doing. It knows that it's navigation, right? There we go. So then we want this one, which will be class flex gap 2 and items right, or like end. Is that it? No, we need to make the whole thing class flex, and we're gonna make it row or flex row or something. There's no such thing, right? Wait, I don't have equals. Come on. Okay, we've got a row now, so that's progress. I just hope to have this justify end. Oh, I would need to probably make it stretch or something. Flex, grow. I truly don't remember how to do that. Uh, full? How about that? No. Screw you. Uh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Whatever. We've got flex row. Uh, and we're gonna have left and theoretically right. So that's good. And that's pretty much it, right? And this could be flex gap. This is flex gap 2. Great. Okay. I mean, it looks better, right? Kind of. So let's fix two things. We're gonna say this one has uh, gap 6 or something so that we have more room between them. And the other thing is that those two buttons on the left, I want them styled as a link. So we had a button, we had style, and that specific style we had a link, parent link, and it just shows us this. Great. So as we have those two, we're just gonna say variant link. Okay, simple. I like it. We're good. We've got start. We can move around the thing. Our thing stays. We can log in, log out, and all works as well. Great. Uh, do we want to leave it as red? Probably not. Let's see if our configuration will have hints for that. Of course not. We got green. Let's do blue. There we go. Learning means blue, right? So let's leave it as blue. I don't care about light dark mode. That doesn't matter. The only thing I would want to see is if the icons work, because that's usually a real pain if late and later you're gonna find out that they don't work. So here we're just saying that is the leading or trailing props to set the icon position, or the leading icon and trailing icon props to set different icon for each position. Okay, so I'm just gonna say leading icon, right? And that's it. So we're just gonna say leading icon, and this will be just something. Um, so just for the login and logout, oh, it actually, wait, what? It reformatted some things in a fancy way. So what we want is to have leading icon. Where was it? I guess dash icon is, and we can paste this one, right? So magically it's supposed to have something here, but it does not. Oh, because we don't want to make it this way, we just want to make it normal thing. There we go. Beautiful. So we can probably just make it the style, not even ghost. We want the style to be, oh yeah, ghost. And that should be good. Okay, so that's ghost, and for the icons, we should go to iconify, and I should be able to select, Google Material icon. Let's say login, and I want to use this one, baseline login. I see. Huh? Ooh, material icons. Material design icons, please. Login. There we go. MDI login. Just like that. If that's gonna work, I'll be very, very, very happy. It works. Okay. All right. All right. This is very pleasant experience. Great. So we've got that part done. We don't have anything else on the page. Nothing that matters, at least. So I'll call it done. Hell yeah. So we've got our settings. Sure. App config TS. Sure. Our header. Yes, please. Next config. Yes, please. And package, of course, we need to have it installed. So install and configure next UI. There we go. Push. Wow, we're storming through this stuff like crazy. So what is the next step? Basic fake auth backend. Oh, so we're starting to deal with the backend. So that means we need to dive into documentation. I think after that, we'll just finish for tonight because it was a long day. And I have a long day tomorrow. And I need some rest today. Tonight. Okay, so let's go and read up on Knox modules. Let's just go to docs. And we should be able to figure out something. So we have installation, configuration, views, assets, styling, routing. And I wanted to do what exactly? Fake auth backend. Sure. So we have data fetching. So that's one thing, like use fetch and whatnot. But server. Build full stack applications with Next server framework. You can fetch data from your database or another server. Create APIs or even generate static server-side content like a sitemap or a RSS feed, all from a single codebase. Yes. So it's all powered by Nitro. It was originally created for Next, but it's now part of OnJS and open for other frameworks and can be even used on its own. Great. Using Nitro gives Next superpowers, full control over the server-side part of your app, universal deployment on any provider, many zero config. Okay. Oh, as in many providers are just no configuration. Great. Hybrid rendering. Nitro is internally using H3 and minimal HTTP framework built for high performance and portability. Okay. Server endpoints and middleware. You can easily manage the server-only part of your Next app from API endpoints to middleware. Both endpoints and middleware can be defined like this. So we go server API test.ts, export something, define event handler, and do a bunch of stuff here, right? And you can directly return text, JSON, HTML, or even a stream. Oh, that's good. Out of the box, it supports hot module replacement and auto import like the other parts of your Next application. Great. So, universal deployment. Nitro offers the ability to deploy your Next app anywhere, from a bare metal server to the edge network with a start time of just 2 milliseconds. That's fast. Okay, that's good. If it can be deployed on edge, that's great. There are more than 15 presets to build your Next app for different cloud providers and servers. Cloud for workers, native functions, virtual edge network, or possibly we would deploy it ourselves. Hybrid rendering has a powerful feature called route rules, which allows you to define a set of rules to customize how each route of your Next app is rendered, and more. Okay, so we have basically defined Next config in our Next config, and we have our route rules. So, for example, our home can be pre-rendered, and therefore just instant, so just load it. Then we have something that gets cached for an hour. Okay, all right, I see. So basically, if we request some kind of data from the API, it's going to be cached for an hour, And after the hour, it will be, you know, redone again. So that's interesting. That could be fun for, you know, maybe some digests of what's the new content or something. Cool. And we can be probably as granular here as we want and have other options than just max age. Redirection to avoid 404s, like, you know, slash old page, redirect to here, right? In addition, there are some route rules, for example, SSR, app middleware, and experimental no scripts that are not specific to change the behavior when rendering your pages to HTML. Okay, some route rules like app middleware, redirect, or pre-render also affect client-side behavior. Nitro is used to build the app for server-side rendering as well as pre-rendering. Awesome. That's good. So, that's it. Read more in Doc's guide concepts rendering. So that's purely rendering, but what I would like to do is basically get the, you know, define some kind of API where I can pretend I'm doing something, and that's it. If layers that allows you to extend the default files, configs, and much more. Nah, we don't need that. Pre-rendering, deployment, testing. Okay, so let's getting started. Guide, key concepts, server engine, have the API layer, server API endpoints, and middleware are added to Nitro. Learn more about the API layer in the server directory. Okay, so we have this directory structure that talks about different features. Okay, cool. The server directory is used to register API and server handlers to your application. Next automatically scans files inside these directories to register API and server handlers with hot module replacement. Okay, server, API, hello TS, roots, bonjour, or middleware log TS. Okay. Each file should export a default function, define with define event handler or event handler alias. Okay. The handler can directly return JSON data, promise, or use event node res end to send a response. Also, I guess we're streaming, and then at the end we need to end it. Great. API hello, right? There we go. You can now universally call this API in your pages and components. Just use fetch / API hello. Okay, that works. So let's start with the simple things. API something.ts. So good. Server API / what would that be? auth / login.ts. Our fake login, right? So we define the event handler and we just return, yeah, sure. Not really. I want it to be async first. I hope it's possible. Right? And how would we use it from here? So let's try to do it from, I mean, one thing is to use it in the index.view. But what if we want to use it from a store? That's the tricky part. Because we don't want it like everywhere at all the time. I would like it to be more of, okay, just load it once and then keep reusing. At least for the initial naive implementation. So let's say that in our pages, wait, not pages, stores. There we go. In our auth store, let's say that our login is an async function. Okay. And instead of just setting it initially, we're just gonna do the whole, you know, use fetch and API auth login, right? That's where we want to reach out. We're not even sending any kind of data. We're just waiting for, you know, the response. So in here, we would just return something. But for now, we just return hello world. So let's do something like this. Console log, logging in, and then we do console log data. Just we're gonna say data, okay, and then we're gonna say logged in, just like that, so that we have some kind of progress of how things are going. I don't know if I can use fetch here. We'll see if it breaks. But what matters is that in our header, actually everywhere where we will be doing something. So first of all, let's go to our alt store. I want to add additional const is logging in. Okay, so this will be our basically guard. And what we can do here is say if is logging in, we just say no, we just return false. Or something, or we just do nothing, okay? When we log in initially, we just do nothing if it's already logging in. If it's not logging in yet, then we're gonna basically say, hey, is logging in set to true, and only after we set everything, only then we just say it's not logging in right now because it has logged in. So something of that sort. This way, if we're gonna call the same thing from multiple sources, it would just trigger only once, in theory. So what's going on here? So we are logged in. Okay. Well, let's just keep it that way. And therefore, in our login TS, it should all work. Let's see what happens if I'm gonna go to a page and just try to do something. Refresh. Okay. I click login. Component is already mounted. Please use fetch instead. There we go. So that's what it wants us to do. Go away, go away, go away. Go away, go away. Go away. And we go here. No. Yeah, in our store. We'll just use fetch. Is it available here? How does that work? Data fetching. Use fetch, this and that. Fetch is the simplest way to make a network request. Use fetch is wrapped around fetch that fetches data only once in universal rendering. Okay, and use data async is so to use fetch but offers more fine-grained control. Great. So we have the need for those. And how about this? The next includes the ofetch library and is auto-imported as the fetch alias globally across your application. So in todos.view, I would just say await fetch, and that just returns the content. Really? And we can do post and whatnot. Great. Let's use that. So in theory, I could just say data is await fetch, and what else we can provide here? Additional settings like, hey, send a post request, and body will be like whatever, Fred Johnson. Okay, maybe somebody's gonna know the reference. If you know the reference, let me know in the comments. Alrighty, so this is supposed to actually fetch the thing, send a post request, and do stuff. And something tells me this here doesn't even know what the thing is, so I'm just gonna say console log login event, and we're just gonna point the event here so that we can log what is it that we're actually receiving. Because we should receive what kind of, is it post, is it something else, and probably a million other things. Okay, let's stop the whole thing. Let's start it from scratch, just make sure that it's all there. Okay, cool. So let's go to our page. Refresh. It's happy now. I click login. Oh, look at that. So logging in, we received the data. which is basically the object. Hello world. There we go. Just like that, we received it. I wonder how do I handle errors here? And here we should have received the long thing. Logging event, H3 event, node. Is event true? Node. Incoming message, blah, blah, blah. Response, oh. Web undefined, context, method. Okay, so we've got underscore method, so that kind of sucks because that means private. Path, headers, because body, all this fun. And even access to fetch and whatnot. Okay. Can I just say event, like let method is event dot context. Okay. And we have the underscore things that I guess we weren't supposed to use. So yeah, we've got a method. Okay. So echo method. And whoa, this is the wrong language. Console log. Oopsie. So now it should be as simple as logout and login. And when we scroll down, we should have method. What the hell did I just do? Okay, method post. Okay, good. So that's great. Authorized. True. There we go. We can get rid of all those funny little things. Beautiful. And in our thing here, we don't need our... I mean, in theory, I would like to, besides just doing that, I would like to just do something like, you know, wait for 1 second to simulate a login. And we have a timeout. There we go. This is the best use for AI. Just say what you want and all this stuff just gets for you. So I want to see if that actually works. Refresh. Click. Oh, see, there was a wait there. Good. So that means that in our header, we could just add a little spinny thingy that we're waiting. I just want to see that work. So our store awaits it. We've got all the fun stuff. Great. We don't need all those console logs. Great. So logging in will be basically our thing that overrides it. Is logging in. So our header will need to add something to our review button. And how do we do that? Button. Do we have loading? Yes, we have. So use the loading prop to show a loading icon and disable the button. Oh, that disables it as well. Lovely. So use the loading icon prop to set a different icon or change it globally. Okay, good. So that's all we need. So we're gonna start with that. So we could say on a button that loading is the auth store is logging in, right? So when I'm gonna go here, it should already be working. I log out, I click. Ah, look at that. It didn't work. What if I'm gonna say true? Now it's showing. No matter if it's logging in or not, it's showing it. So somehow this doesn't work. Is logging in. Store is logging in. Huh. Interesting how it doesn't update. Why is that? Because in theory, this should be reactive. Unless we're doing something wrong here. Is logging in as a reference? Hmm. Um. So simply, let's try to make it into, extract it. So const is logging in, or like is loading. We just make a computed value for that, and therefore we should be able to plug it in here. And let's see if that makes any difference. If that makes a difference, I don't know why. Ha! Still nothing. Dot value? That would be stupid. Of course, it's not that, because that doesn't make any sense. Cannot read properties of value. Is true. Hmm. So none of those. So I guess this might be confusing it. What if I'm gonna remove this part? Log out, log in. Also nothing. Huh. So it's not that. It's just somehow this is not binding properly. I'll say true. It's thinking. I say false. It's not thinking. It's showing the icon. So what is wrong with this? Let's just add in parentheses is loading. Just pure value of it. Nothing. Oh, it's empty. That's what it is. It just shows up straight up as empty. Is logging in. Oh, I know, because I'm an idiot. Is logging in. Save. Refresh page. There we go. Okay, progress. Now it's actually showing the value. So I can go back and say auth store is logging in. And magically it should just work. Click, thanks, and bam. Great. So I can just have this thing here. But what I want to do is, instead of this random is loading, I actually want to have like a property here to display. So it'll be login button text. Okay. So have login button text. It's gonna be computed. And what we're gonna do here is very simple. If is logging in. So let's do it this way. If it says it's logging in, then if we're gonna return based on auth store is logged in. So if it's logged in, it's gonna say logging out. Otherwise, it's gonna say logging in. Okay. And otherwise, else, it's just gonna be the other way around. If it's logged in, log out. If it's not logged in, do that. Okay, great. And we can just grab it and say, yeah, it's already there. Okay, let's see if it works. So refresh, bam, logging in, bam, click, log out. That's it. Lovely. It wasn't that hard. Just a few lines of code and we're happy. I know I could make it a gigantic tertiary thing, but no, let's just have normal if else's. Okay. So that means that our temporary backend is set. We don't get any weird notifications anymore. Yeah, we just have authorized true. We wait for a second every time, and that's it. So I'm gonna stop it, and we're gonna push it. So, simple API to pretend login. And logout. So let's just add the logout action, okay? It's gonna be a little bit faster. Let's just make it reach out to the server as well. So what we could do is in our store on logout, we're gonna have the same thing. The only thing is that we're gonna switch some things. If it's logging in, return, otherwise set it. So this logging in is more like is waiting, is fetching or something. Is loading. Maybe we should rename it is loading. Yeah. Is loading. There we go. Now it's a bit nicer. Again, the data will be await, fetch. So async function. So await fetch, it will be logout. Again, a post, and we don't need to provide a body. It's just logout. And then after that, logged in value will be set to false, and is loading value is false. So if it's loading or is not logged in, just return, because if we're already logged in, there's no reason to log out. And the same thing we can say if it's logged in, there's no need to log in. So little thingy there. That should be it. Okay, on this end. In our header, the only thing we need to change is from is logging in to is loading. Okay, and then we have our backend where we can duplicate our thingy and name it to logout.ts, and there we go. We just set timeout. This will be maybe 250 milliseconds or 300, as to simulate a logout. That's it. So let's test it. I mean, I need to restore the server, and we'll be good. Alrighty, this is running. So refresh, we log in, and then we log out. Long, short. There we go. And it persists it. Log in. As long as we, don't refresh the page, all the cookies and crazy stuff will be later. It will be probably mostly dependent on whatever solution for authentication / authorization we're gonna choose. Okay, but hey, we've got a first kind of APIs that we can do something with to reach out somewhere else. This is wonderful. Okay, so now we can push those files and say that we did that. Let's push those changes, and we can basically go and check our Markov. Basic fake auth backend. There we go. Done. Things like setup connections to SerialDB, we're gonna do next time. I need some rest. This was, what, 2.5 hours, right? It was a fast 2.5 hours. But hey, we've got something working. Okay, I'm gonna, again, this is not open source, but I'm just gonna go to create a nice little pull request. Create a pull request. Yeah, from this to main. uh, Initial, next setup. And do we have a thing? This is what's the ID of this thing? I guess it's not connected to an issue. Convert to an issue. Okay, copy link and project. So we don't do anything crazy here. So that's that. And that's draft. What on earth is supposed to be draft? Assignee, size, estimates, size. I guess this is draft because it doesn't have an issue. Oh well. Does not matter. So we just, initial, next setup. There we go. There we go. Pull request. I'm gonna quickly approve it. Squash and merge. Delete branch. And we should be able to go to, first of all, let's stop our server because it's still running probably, right? Okay. And then we go back to our main and we pull it. There we go. And we get rid of this one. Okay, success. So thank you for watching. If you like the content, consider liking, subscribing on YouTube or following on Twitch, and also consider joining my Discord. Link in the description or somewhere down here. Next. So on Friday, we'll just continue with our NIM adventures. We're gonna be actually connecting to SerialDB from NIM using the Seaboard protocol. There'll be some work, more work, basically testing and covering some cases and converting the actual queries, but it's actually happening. We're gonna start connecting. And Monday will be more Unreal Engine. We're gonna probably continue with the procedural city / building experiment. And on next Wednesday, we're gonna continue with this project, where we'll probably do the connecting to the database and things like, I don't know, maybe we're gonna do the authentication, because that's kind of everything else depends on authentication. So I might just research some things in the meantime. If you have any suggestions for decent services for authentication that have good free tier, should leave it in the comments, or maybe let me know on Discord. So that's what we'll be probably spending that time on, and maybe simple account management. We'll see how much we can get accomplished. So that's that. Again, thank you everyone, and have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is in your location. Maybe you're even in a location where there's no day or night. That happens. All right. Thank you again. See you around.